But first, wanted to start off with someone who did call it a career, both in the UFC and out of the UFC on Saturday. It was an emotional scene. She's one of the most beloved fighters in the history of the UFC and in the history of MMA. No one has anything negative to say about Michelle Waterson-Gomez. And in my opinion, a pioneer, a trailblazer of the game, former atomweight champion in Invicta, moved over to the UFC, fought at 115, fought at 125, and was always a tremendous role model, always a tremendous ambassador for the sport, and always seemed to do things the right way. And on Saturday, following her fight against Jillian Robertson, she took off the gloves and called it a career. Wanted to talk to her about all of that and more. Here she is, Michelle Waterson-Gomez. Hello, Michelle. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Ariel. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Thank you for all those kind words.
Of course, of course. And you look great. The swelling is going down a little bit. You feel okay?
It is, it's kind of just what happens every time. But yeah, it's actually healing pretty well. Everything was very surfacey, so I'm healing up. After I get off the phone with you, we're gonna take a road trip out to Texas and enjoy 4th of July.
Amazing. And thank you very much for squeezing us in before your road trip. I appreciate it very much. There's been, I'm sure, a lot being said about you and a lot of things being thrown your way in the last few days. How are you handling all of this? Is it hard to process? Is it emotional? How are you doing with all the tributes and all the words and all the stuff being thrown your way?
It fills my heart. It really does. It's crazy. If you were to ask me when I was a little girl, like, what do you think you're going to be when you grow up? I would have never in a million years imagined that I would be a professional fighter for the UFC. But that's where the road took me, and I'm so eternally grateful for that. It's really shaped me into the person I am today. And the fight game is tough. It's unforgiving, and you're met with challenges at every step of the way, and it can be a lonely road sometimes. You have to be very selfish in order to climb the ladder, but it's kind of how life is. And I think that's why I fell in love with fighting, is because it is just like a mirror representation of what life is. It's tough. You're going to be met with adversities. It's supposed to be hard. You're supposed to have struggles, and you're supposed to meet those struggles with excitement. You're supposed to overcome those challenges and become a better person from it. And that's what I've done. And it's all I've ever known for my entire adult life. And I wasn't expecting the tribute. I really didn't even want anybody to know that I was retiring. Only told a couple people. And so it really did fill my heart.
And just curious, like right off the jump of this interview, I could tell that you're a little bit emotional, and obviously I see the tears. What do they represent? Are they sad tears? Are they happy tears? Are they a mix of emotion tears? What do the tears represent?
It's everything, It just sometimes when you fight, you have your head down and you just grind it out, and you kind of don't take those moments to really appreciate all of it. And I think it might be that I'm getting older. It might just be that I'm kind of actually taking the time to look back at everything that I've been able to accomplish. And it is just like, it's overwhelming to think that it's over. So yeah, it's sad. But I'm also grateful. I'm telling you, my cup is so full right now. And I guess sometimes you don't realize when you're in the thick of it, the amount of love and support that I've had over the years. And it's beautiful for sure.
When did you decide that this would be the last one?
When I took the fight.
Okay, so the whole training camp, you knew this was the last training camp, the last, final weeks, like that was the decision.
Yeah.
And why? Why did you make that decision off the bat?
There's lots of reasons. I've been fighting for over 17 years. my husband sacrificed a lot in order for me to fight. He sacrificed his own fight career. As long as my daughter has been born, she's, you know, been a, a gym kid. You know, you take her to the gym. There, she was in the car seat. She's had to sacrifice birthdays, events, change around things on her end, speak so mommy can train, so mommy can fight. And she's getting older, and I want to be in her corner. I want to be in my husband's corner. You know, there are a lot of things that he's doing right now that I want to be a part of. And I'm not getting any younger. And it's just, I think that you just kind of have to recognize things for what they are. And as a fighter and a competitor, if I could, I would stay in chasing the wins, chasing that incredible high that you get when you win, chasing the gold. But I think I just had to recognize where I was at in my MMA career, and the amount of time and sacrifice I was putting into that could be put into a different direction where I can get a win in different areas of life.
And so this training camp, how would you describe it? Because maybe there's milestones and things that you were thinking about, like this is the last time I'll do this. This is the last time I'm going to spar. You seem to be the type of person that would think of those things. And so was it an emotional one?
Camp was amazing. I have the best team in the world, you know, at Jackson Wing, Coach Jackson, Coach Izzy, Coach Joy Villasenor, my husband, Coach Bart, everybody that's been a part of my fight career, Holly, everybody at the gym, they're family to me. And I don't even know if some of the people at the gym knew that I was getting ready to retire. I didn't want them to know, because I didn't want them to think that I was one foot in, 1 foot out. I was in this training camp to win, you know. And we had an amazing fight camp, but it was a little different just because I was able to enjoy it. Like, even the hard days, even the days that were rough, I was like, this is crazy. Like, what we do this for a living, you know? And but even those days, I really relished. And I just soaked it all up.
Who did you tell beforehand that this was going to be the last one?
I told Dana and my coaches.
Okay. Did Holly know?
Yeah.
Okay. I would imagine. And so when you got to Vegas fight week, Friday night, Saturday, knowing that it was going to be your last walk, what was that day like?
I just kept telling myself to enjoy it. Like, this is amazing, Michelle. You never, fingers crossed I'll be able to be in the back in a different arena, right? I'd love to get into broadcasting. I'd love to be able to still touch the magic and be a part of the MMA world, because there's nothing like it. But to be able to compete, to be in the locker room, to feel those nerves, to hear the crowd, to have Bruce Buffer cheer me up, scream my name, and to be interviewed by Joe, all those things we take for granted. To be stopped by fans, to be asked to take pictures and autographs, those moments are priceless. And I just really was grateful to have that moment.
So you had
those moments.
You had no idea the video package was coming?
No.
Wow. What's going on in your head when that's playing?
It was a mix of emotions, because I was upset that I lost, you know.
Yeah. Of course.
I was still in there. I was still there.
Yeah.
And they started playing all those things, and it just made me realize that like, one singular moment doesn't doesn't tell the whole story. It doesn't represent who you are. And that goes for everything in life as well. Whether you're a fighter or not, bad things that happen to you in life, hard moments that happen to your life are just that. They're just moments. And the good times are just that as well. They're moments, you know. And so you have to take it all. You have to take it all in and be able to step back and look at the picture in a whole. You can't have a beautiful canvas without the darks and the lights. You need all the in betweens in order to have a beautiful picture, a beautiful piece of art. And then that's kind of what they were able to give to me, is to show me my career in a whole, and it made me grateful.
It's an incredible show of respect and love because, as you know, sometimes they don't know about this beforehand, but they don't, even if they do, like, they don't always do this for every fighter. We saw it with Robbie Lawler last year. And so I'm sure you recognize that as well and understand that, like, that is a huge piece of respect that they just showed you.
100%. And I'm eternally grateful. I don't know why. I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to, I'm not going to downplay, who I am. At the same time, I have a tremendous amount of respect for anybody that steps into the octagon. Robbie Lawler, Andre Arlovsky is a teammate of mine, and a big brother who I look up to. It's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles with everybody's career. Everybody's career is different. I remember fighting for the main event against Paige VanZant, and Uriah Faber was fighting on that undercard, and it was his retirement fight, and I didn't think that that was fair. I thought that he should have been headlining the card because it was his retirement fight. But life isn't fair. You got to take them as they come, and that's the card. Those are the cards I was dealt. They showed me lots of love, and it was beautiful. It was really. There's nothing more I could say other than that.
There's some people who can't, like, fathom getting older or having a chapter end in their life, and there are other people who prepare for it and think about it all the time and put a date, put an age, something like that. Which one were you? Were you someone who always thought about the end, or are you someone who thought that you'd forever be young and that the end would never come?
I thought about it just because you know, I think when you have children, you think about it more because you see them growing up. When I was fighting before I had Araya, and I see pictures of me holding the Invicta belt, and she was just a little baby, and now she's a teenager, and so time flies when you look at it in comparison to your children, and so I think that's kind of where I was at with it. As a fighter, as a competitor, I didn't want to hang it up. I didn't want to. I wanted to continue to go for my own sake so that I could erase the losses. But it's like a drug. It's like you're constantly chasing the win, and sometimes you just don't get it. You just don't get it. But the truth is, I've won in so many other ways in life that the win in the octagon is for me, and how I've kind of come to accept it is the character I've been able to build through fighting.
As far as the fight itself, obviously it didn't go your way, but man, they didn't give you an easy one for your last one. Julian Robertson is supremely tough, especially on the ground. Are you happy with your performance in the fight, or because you didn't get no, you're not. Okay. You
Here's the thing. I wouldn't have taken the fight if I didn't think I could beat her. I tell that I say that all the time with everybody that I've taken, and they don't. They never give me easy fights, and that's how I would prefer it. I would prefer it that way. But when we took the fight, I took it knowing that I had all the skills and abilities to beat her. My footwork's better, my stand-up's better. I have good takedown defense. I have good jujitsu. I have good wrestling. And that's just another reason that solidifies why I have to walk away, because I should have beat her. and I didn't. And it's just, father time catching up to me. Maybe it's not father time. Maybe it's just me not being able to translate what I do in training over into the octagon under lights when it counts. And that's important. That has to transfer over.
You mentioned your life post fighting, and you said you want to be in your husband Joshua's corner and things like that. Do you mean he's actually going to start fighting now, or do you mean like corner as far as life is concerned?
I don't, we all, he's always, he was a fighter before he hung it up and was in my corner. But I mean, in life, he never throws it in my face that he had to hang up, the gloves. He never throws it in my face that there are other things that he has to pick up because of my fighting. And I want to be in his corner and as supportive for his dreams as he was for mine. We're building homes now and building to sell, and it's scaling really fast. And he needs help, and I can be there to help him, and I would love to, because even as we're building homes, he's cornering me, holding mitts for me, helping with negotiations, helping with my social media, helping with my marketing, helping with my networking, and taxes, accounting. Takes a lot of energy, and so yeah, I do. I want to be in his corner. I want the things that he is pursuing to flourish.
As you know, fighters will retire and then they'll come back. We have this weekend Jorge Masvidal fighting. He retired around a year ago. This is just kind of the fight game, how it is. And so I'm just wondering, like, we have Karate Combat making a push now. Your background is in like, do you think we'll ever see you compete in anything ever again, or are you officially done all forms of martial arts / athletics?
I don't know. At the moment, I'm really content with walking away. I'm content with turning the page and taking a step forward into this new chapter. I'm really excited. I'd love to get into acting. I'd love to get into broadcasting. I'd love to be on the other side of it. I'd love to coach some of my teammates to greatness. I'd love to be able to help other female athletes, other female businesswomen, other mothers pursue their dreams and whatever it is. I'd love to be able to be in their corner for that. I'm still a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. I want to get my black belt. Whether or not that involves having to compete, we shall see. But at the moment, I'm just pretty content with just being mommy.
So you'll be at the gym. You want to corner people and coach people, etc.
Yeah, it's in my blood. I can't walk away. And I thought I could, even just like jockeying back and forth between making the decision from my last fight, and just kind of giving myself a break away from it, and like just kind of dipping my toes into normal life is very different than the life of a professional fighter. And I see why so many fighters go back to fighting, because there's no other challenge in life like there is to prepare yourself for a fight. And so I would love to stay in the gym, keep my mind sharp, stay disciplined, be around, as my coach Diori says, touch the magic. Fighters, we're reaching for greatness, and I'm a strong believer in you are who you surround yourself with, and fighters are some of the best people in the world.
I know this may be a tough question for you to answer, but just curious, what are you most proud of when you think back of the body of work, what you've done and accomplished, what you represented? What is Michelle Waterson most proud of as far as her career is concerned?
I think I'm the most proud of believing in myself enough to try. putting myself in front of really, really hard, almost untouchable goals and reaching them. Like I'm a little karate girl from Aurora, Colorado. Was Rashad told me this in my last fight. He was like, "You're not even supposed to be here, Peanut." It's truthfully, he wasn't saying it in a mean way, but he was like, "You forced your way in." You know, I did point sparring karate growing up, and it's very outside of who I am to be a fighter, and I wanted to know that I could, and so I did, and I stayed at the top for a really long time, and I'm really proud of that. I fought the best in the world. I stayed in the top 10 for as long as I could for the majority of my career until this last year. Um, I was able to climb pretty high. I'm really proud of that.
Before you came on, I called you a pioneer, a trailblazer. I believe that. I don't just say that. Are you comfortable with that? Do you acknowledge that you are that as far as women's MMA is concerned?
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy to think, because at the gym they call me Peanut. When I was first started fighting, I was the green girl. I was the little karate girl that really kind of didn't, have a place, have a home, and and now I'm an OG. It's crazy. It's weird, but it's also something that I've grown to love and accept.
Do you have a favorite fight? Can I tell you my favorite fight and then you tell me what yours is if you have one? I think
Sure.
if there are newer fans out there and they want to know the magic and how good you were and how talented you were and how skilled you were, to me, like one of the best fights of that particular year was you versus Jessica Penne. That was an incredible back and forth war, if you want to use that phrase. So if anyone is out there and watching this and wants to see like you at your finest, in my opinion, maybe like it was an incredible. I mean, the Invicta run was great in its own right, and you had great UFC fights too. But I don't know, maybe atom weight was the perfect weight for you at the time. There was just something magical about all of that. So that's my pick. Do you have a pick for? And do you agree with the pick? Like, would you put it at least
Mhm.
even in the top three, top four?
Yeah,
Okay,
100%.
all right.
And the reasoning is because that was my moment. That was the time where I like bit down on my mouthpiece and shut the world out and just believed in myself. I was a 10-1 underdog against Jessica Penne, and nobody thought that I could win that belt. She was bigger. She was brown belt in the jiu-jitsu at the time. I was a white belt. Just had my daughter, and it was just like everything was stacked against me. But I knew in my heart that I was going to win, and it didn't matter how. And I didn't have a specific way how. I just knew that I was going to win, and it was like you said, it was a war. It was back and forth, and at one point, she was on top of me, and she was ground and pounding me and raining down punches, trying to split me open. And I just remember looking over at my husband, and he was just telling me like, "Calm down, you're fine." And I was able to reverse that position, and then come out in the next round and uh, finish her by submission. And it all came to a head. It just kind of was a little bit numb after the ref pulled us apart, and I remember standing up and then just dropping right back to my knees, thinking about like all the hard work that had built up to that moment. So that was a beautiful moment for me, for sure.
Is that your favorite fight?
I have so many favorite fights for so many different reasons. You know, um, that one was beautiful. The fight against Tamada, the fight I had to defend my atom weight belt, was beautiful in its own right because I just had this aura of confidence that I was unstoppable, and I was I was I was a savage in that fight, and it showed in my performance. I love my fight against Paige VanZant because um, I was out for about a year and a half going through. Uh, I broke my hand in my UFC debut, but it didn't matter because I won. But after that, it was like a series of handbrakes. So it was like, gosh, I just got signed to the UFC, and I keep breaking my hand. Every time I got a fight set, it was like 2 weeks getting ready to fight, and then my hand would break again. So it was like that for a year and a half. And so it went from me getting signed to the UFC, riding this incredible high, to nobody being like knowing who I was. My hand was broken. Maybe I needed to stop fighting. I was paying all these medical bills. Um, and then I got slated to fight Paige VanZant, and then it was the main event out of this incredible new stadium, and huge opportunity. And that fight just all seemed to fall in line perfectly. Sometimes, and they call it the Zen flow, call it whatever you want to call it, but that's what it was for me. It was like everything was happening in slow motion. I could see her movement, and everything just fell into place how it needed to. I was able to secure the submission, got performance of the night, and was able to bring extra money home, which was what meant the most to me, because I was out for a year and a half, costing my family money. And so that fight was also very meaningful to me as well.
Last question. Your daughter has been by your side. We've gotten to see her grow up. You would bring her to the fights alongside your mom as well. You kind of let us into your family throughout the years. And I noticed on Instagram, her name is Karate Cutie. So it seems like she's following in your footsteps. Do you think she will be a fighter? Does she want to be a fighter?
I didn't think I didn't start fighting until I was an adult. She has no interest in it right now. She does jujitsu. She's really good at it. But I don't think that's where her heart lies right now. And I will never force her to do something she doesn't want to, but who knows what, where the road takes her in the future. I'm just so incredibly proud of her and the young lady she's become over the years. She's just such an amazing, beautiful, beautiful young lady.
Congratulations on a great career, Michelle. Thank you for all the great fights. Thank you for being so great to the media. You're always available. You're always such a great interview. You and your family, as Dana said, there's nothing bad that anyone could say about any of you guys. And it was really an honor to watch you and cover you over the years. And I'm happy you got that send off. You deserve that. And you're a legend of the game. You're a trailblazer and a pioneer, and you deserve everything that everyone is saying about you. So I hope that you are proud of the body of work and proud of everything that you accomplished. And I'm glad that you'll be around in some way, shape, or form, because I'm sure there's a whole new crop of fighters coming through Jackson Wink that can learn a hell of a lot from the likes of you. So well done. Enjoy your holiday weekend. And again, thank you for coming on before you guys go on your road trip.
Thanks for having me. I'm an emotional person, so sorry for crying this whole interview. But yeah, and I'm sure I'll go through the emotions, highs and lows throughout it. But I really appreciate you and the amount of work you put into, allowing us to share our stories. And that's what makes a difference is, people watch the fights, but that's not what they get attached to. They get attached to a person because you guys, people like you, let us tell our story. And that's what's important is the story, the reason why we fight, and that's what you guys allow us to do, is to tell that story. So I'm eternally grateful for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. All the best. Congrats. There she is, Michelle Waterson-Gomez. What a legend. What a great human being. Congratulations to her on an incredible career, and looking forward to seeing what she does next.